Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I call this meeting to order. Mr. Johnson, will you give the invitation, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Father, once again, we come in to handle our first city meeting of the new year. We ask you to look down upon us and give us wisdom and knowledge to make the right decision. We thank you for this opportunity today, God. We ask you to bless Hazelhurst and move us forward in your name. We ask you to bless our soldiers over Battlefield, our city and our state and our government. We ask you to bless those that bereaved and sick. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the agenda has got to be modified a little bit, so if you'll bear with me, Kenny Green with our engineering firm called and asked me to get this to you as quick as possible, and I'll go over this water line change and some things he wants to do. So I ask you to let's put Kenny Green water line engineering report as item alt, and insert that, please. That change, we talked about it a little bit Monday night, and he's given me this information for that and some other things. So Green. All right, then I think there was something else. Ramey, didn't we want to put a report on our
report on what's taking place with animal control right now,
okay, I'm
with
going
our
to ask,
problems and what's taking place.
I'm going to ask you, we call that double alt for the animal control report. Is it, council, anybody else got anything while we're amending our agenda that needs to be amended? Tony, you got anything about the golf course, anything that you, everything okay? All right, anybody else? Chief, fire and police, Cody, you good shape out at the airport? You got nothing there to report? Okay, council, I entertain a motion that we amend our agenda for the points of double alt and alt, animal control, and the engineering report.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey's made a motion that we amend the agenda as asked. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion about the amended agenda? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. So we have an amended agenda, and we've got our work cut out for us. So, and for those of you that may not know Steve, he's been with the city for a good while now, and he's beginning to assume some more duties. Steve, why don't you go to that little stand right over there with your notes, and you heard what Ms. Bernice told you. You better be brief or you'll be in all kind of trouble. Bring us up to date on the condition out at the animal control shelter.
Testing.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Okay. Up over here. You just go ahead.
All right. I've just recently been promoted to a new position. Knew there was an issue out at our dog pound, and just took it upon myself to look into it. Found out we got some serious issues going on. I am out there addressing them. I've got a list of notes, things that need to be taken care of. We're working diligently to get this done. I'm really hoping by the end of next week we should have everything taken care of, and we can get back with the Department of Agriculture.
And let me help you just a little bit. You're new and everything is fine, but your report is to the council, and those folks out here, it ain't none of their business. They just here listening.
Okay.
So you can direct everything. I was really trying to help you.
Okay.
You just direct your attention up here, and they can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got photographs, before and after photographs. Anybody that needs to see what the conditions were, I got before photographs, in progress, and after photos of everything we've done. We had problems with water washing under the foundation. It's been corrected. We had bait boxes out there, and they had become government housing. The rodents were actually living in them with no bait. They've been cleaned out, rebaited. We're working on getting all the pins and everything corrected that's out there. Busted concrete. We're currently pressure washing the whole building. One thing I found is the smell is horrendous, and it's because of lime and buildup on the building over the years. Bleach won't take care of that. I'm actually using CLR, which is breaking that down and then pressure washing it. And once we get that off there, the smell will go away. I've also found out we can get a deodorizer up there from the water treatment center to put there, and there's stuff on property that we can use. We had a live report with Department of Ag last week, talking about everything that was going on. I already had all those bases covered. We're covering their issues and above and beyond. It's just time limiting and what cost is gonna be. If anybody's got any questions or would like to come out there, you're more than welcome to have you, but it will be resolved.
Kind of bringing up to date too, that, I know that, the mayor said that they didn't need to know, but I feel they do.
Well, I was trying to help Steve with his report.
We were basically shut down, with our, by our Department of Agriculture for ignoring some things, that through sanitation, maintenance, some of these things, Steve is working very diligently to get us back on target again, and, I compliment him, very much for being able to, within very short time, I think we should be back in, with our animal control unit.
Yes, sir. I'm working diligently to get us in compliance and get them here as quick as possible. They've just sat long enough and action needs to be done, so.
Steve, we appreciate it. We look forward to, continued good service from you. Thank you, sir.
The only thing, Steve,
Yes, sir.
the only thing, like I said, we're starting out a new year, and I'm sure that the mayor and whoever's gonna be over that out there, but if y'all will, for my, this is me, for my, satisfaction of peace of mind, when a person comes from the state, or somebody comes in with this, please, the person, the elected person, I've said it time and time again, but the elected person that's over that department, or the mayor, or the city clerk, they contact you, please let them know that that person is in town. That person needs to see somebody up here. This is why we got like this, because that was straightened out one time, thinking that it was still there, and now it's back up again. Half of the time, these people's coming to town, and the elected officials don't even know it. And I said it then, and I said it now, but now we're in a position that we're gonna stop it. They have to let us know that one of us have to be there with them, please.
Yes,
when
sir.
they come in, not just a report, but we want to meet that person.
Okay, and I've dealt with all these agencies all my life. I'm very familiar with how they all operate and how serious this was, and that's why I just took it upon myself to start doing it. Because I saw it just got pushed to the wayside, and I've already told my men, when they come out there, you need to call me. I want to be there with you when they're there, and if somebody else needs to be there with me, but reports will be filed at the premises, that's where they need to be filed, but passed on up too.
Okay, but when they're in town, let somebody at the city hall know they are here.
Yes, sir.
Please.
It's not a problem.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're gonna have a record-keeping, system, I think was required.
Yes, sir. We've got file cabinets out there for them now, furniture, and getting everything in place.
Good deal.
Okay, thank you, Steve. All right, now the next, they called, and I'm gonna go over this, with you. I've read through it a time or two. I got it on while we were in transit, traveling, into Hazelhurst, and I told him that I would manage to get it all together and get it to the council tonight. You can read for yourself, but as we discussed, this is Ken talking in his communication. As we discussed, we have revised the proposed well location slightly as shown on the map below. I'll show you the map in a minute. This will keep us 250 feet from all structures. The light blue line that you'll see in a few minutes, get that back on. The light blue line, well, 250. The light blue line shows the water line that will connect to the red line that is under construction. The entrance would be from Plum Street. Please let us know if this location is acceptable. Also, please let us know what you find about the history of the parcel to the east between the well and the railroad track. I'll explain that to you in a minute. Also, we discussed, we will proceed, as we discussed, we will proceed on bidding the well and hydrant value portion, replacement portions of the project. As those are bid, we will know how much money is left, and we can determine which other waterline projects are possible. Thanks, Kenny. Now we'll get to that for you so you can begin to see. All right, let's see, I'll take this and do this and bring it up to, all right here is the park over there. You see the park going around Plum Street. Going around, what is that street right there? This is Plum going right here by the park. Pine Street curves around there at the park, and that's the entrance into the well. You know, we've got a road coming right in here. Here's the road coming in, and right in the actually dog park area is where he's proposing to put this well. This is the walking park and this will not obstruct with anything you do with the dog park. He says that's not a problem. But it's got to be 250 feet. You see the 250 feet line right here. It's got to be 250 feet from this house line, and that's the reason it was moved over some from where we first had it. And then the connecting water lines will run out to, this is Plum Street, in front of where Dale Strawn, and this goes out here. But that's the well location. The piece of land that he's talking about back in here, we own this property going back to the railroad, and EPD or somebody has mentioned that it used to be an old landfill, and he's afraid that, he's asked me, and I know absolutely nothing of it, and we'll have to go to our oldest historians, but in all of my surveying and research that I've done, he says there was an old landfill there, and he wanted to make sure that at a later date, when we get a little further along with this project, that that can be an obstruction with the permitting again, and we'd want that. Well, the oldest landfill that I know anything about in Hazlehurst, Georgia, is where the dumpling shop is. It goes back prior to 1900, and I've been way back in with that. And then when you get back prior to 1900 and 1800s, I don't have any idea, and I don't know of anybody that would. I don't think even Buddy Spann or any of our oldest citizens would be familiar with that. But if y'all know, do you know anything, Mr. Attorney, you ever run into it?
I've never heard of one back there.
I haven't either. I don't think we've got a problem. But he's wanting to know if that well location is suitable with us. And I don't know whether he's got that plume. Have you got the plat, the easements that he sent you?
I'll have them with me, he sent them to me.
Well, I did too, but I forgot about, on the other side of Frank Miller's house, on down here a little bit further, looks like, I could Google Earth that, and probably, but at any rate, we're coming right below this down here. You see where I'm coming around Pine Street? This line is coming from the railroad track right across in here, just a little bit below the bottom line of this thing, and, we're making progress, but now let's go to the next, thing, and then if you ask me any questions, we'll go back to this. Right here is the bid information that he's wanting you to have. Let's see, come here, and let's up the scale of this thing. You'll notice that the water supply well, the 1,000 gallon per minute well, is a $600,000 project, and right beneath this is the hydrant. See the hydrant and valve replacement is $500,000. And he's wanting, let's pull that down a little, he's wanting to bid that as soon as y'all get him the okay and get it ready, to go and get that aspect going. We've already got you notice the next one under construction, the even though we've been delayed on that $621,000, it's already bid, and we've already got the pipe and all in on the job for that. And then to finish up, once we get all that done, to take supposedly $800,000 and do the water lines and the balance of the contract, and we think it's somewhere around $352,000. But at any rate, he wanted y'all to sort of know where you are, He's saying that we need to, get moving on this, this GFA loan and the information that we've got in here. And the location of the well was the main thing, and that he wants to separate the hydrants and the, and he can't do it completely. He says he understands that some of it is in new water lines that we're putting in, but he wants to separate that portion of the contract and bid it separate from the balance, so we'll know how much money we've got left for a portion of it. Now, you got any questions about that?
He wants to separate some of the hydrants?
He wants, he wants to take all the number of hydrants we want to replace and the well and get that initiative. Well, that's what we agreed on. We've already agreed on that. But the main thing was to, I guess, get the location where he's shown you that. I don't think we have a lot to say about that. But you see where it's going. It's going in that dog track now.
What, you know, when Amercord had that problem, there was a plume that ran down in that area. Are they outside that plume?
Yes, we're out. We cleared that. That's what that easement is that you've got.
Okay.
Yeah, you've and you just got Craig Bardstead to come in and survey it, and yeah, it's outside. We've got the map and show where it is, and we've cleared that.
Okay.
The only fire hydrants we're discussing at this time is those that are coming off this 12-inch line.
Oh, no.
Or we're looking at doing
Oh,
all of them.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This ain't got a thing in the world to do with this 12-inch line. This
Okay.
has got nothing. This is
All right.
this is your contract.
That's what I was wanting clarity on, because I was reading.
Yeah, no, this is
12-inch
your
line.
contract. No, this is the water and fire hydrant contract and the well.
Good.
And he's wanting to get started on it. He wanted to take it a bite at a time.
That's a good deal.
Now, we've already approved all this, at large. I mean, you've already okayed this project now. And this is how he's wanting to segment it, to try to get it accomplished.
Make sure we get off of the pollution area.
Okay, any questions about it? I'm gonna call him and tell him then, I'm gonna look at it a little bit more. I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna go see Buddy, I need to go see him anyway, his sister is dead, and, burying her in the next day or two, but I'll see him sometime over the weekend, and I'll ask him if he's got any knowledge of any, old landfill in that area. I don't think he has, but we'll see. I've probably done more research on land surveys and whatnot in that area. I've done some surveys on both sides of that railroad track there, and I've never run into it, and he says he hadn't. We've got, between the two of us, we've handled a lot of property surveys. But at any rate, any questions? I'll proceed in talking with Ken, and if y'all hear anything, if you stay in touch with me, we'll try to keep our nose clean. Any questions? I've done what he asked me to do. Let's move along. Okay, we're now at item number 1, discuss City of Hazlehurst structural appointments, City Council and employees. I think we completed the employee appointments last week, and as far as the department heads, even Chief Wasden came up to the podium and thanked us graciously for rehiring him. And I think we've got that handled. And as was notified last week, the new charter is designed in such a way is that it states that the council shall among themselves make their appointments relative to the department that they are the liaison for. And you all asked me to handle that and gave me the authority to do that, and I'm ready to do it. Prior to doing that, I've got a I'm under the same gun that Steve was under. Bernie's has told me to make it short and sweet, and I'll try to do just that, because I think you all have to agree. You don't sit in long meetings with me, you never have, and we're not going to start now. But let me take a few minutes. Back when Buddy Spann was the mayor, I don't know exactly how and what all happened, but Buddy's time got to be quite limited, and his time to work as mayor, and he came up with the idea, in order to make sure that the supervision was handled properly throughout the city, that he designate a counseling, over each area to sort of be the supervisor of each department head. Wasn't you were here at that time, were you not?
Yes,
Can you clarify, that, if what I'm saying, isn't that pretty much?
Yes, sir, he rotated every year, they rotated the departments, that way that every commissioner during their 4-year tenure would be able to say, would go to each department, so they know the operations of each department, in a 4-year term.
That's correct, and that was a case where, over a 4-year term, each one would have more responsibility in having dealt with each department and all, but at any rate, his primary purpose, and he's talked to me about it, and I'm sure, his primary purpose was that he wasn't going to be there, and he wanted the departments of the city to have a supervisor. And he didn't have the time to spend with it, and that was his primary purpose. I have, in a lot of, through these number of years that I've been here, I've been in a lot of meetings where the structure of your city government is discussed. I'm certainly not an authority by any means. I'm not an authority on anything but cutting bushes, and I am an authority. I can stand up with anybody in cutting bushes. But they've questioned this business. What? Your council is a supervisor of one of your city departments, and it's a no-no. It should have never, and the legal people, I've talked to legal advisors, and they said, I don't know who decided to do that and why it was done, but your city council is not designed to be the water commissioner or the street commissioner or the police commissioner or the fire commissioner. That's not their place, and it's also borders on being completely out of the structure of government operation, and that's a fact. You can verify that for yourself. But at any rate, I think, like Charles said, with this liaison business has been encrypted in the structure of our government. I think it's a good process, and quite frankly, I have no reason to not continue. However, I wanted to clarify the nature of the beast is that you are the liaison in that department. You are to assist that department head, be his or her contact look, I'd like for you to help me present to the council certain budget requirements or certain issues that you work together with the department head to come before, just like Steve did tonight, and come together with, and Ramey has been working with him very close out there on that dog pound, and the two of them have come and sort of, Ramey has been the liaison with Steve of helping him and all the help he can give him. But I want to make sure, as I do this, that I have been instructed through the years, and I want to make sure you know, and you can verify it if you want to, you are not over any department. That is not your job and what you're elected for. At the same time, I want you to understand that as an elected official, you have the right to go to any department head. I don't care whether you're the liaison with the water department, you want to go to the police department, wherever you want to go. Any one of you can go anywhere you want to and ask all the questions you want to ask and ask for them to provide you information you need. And you are representing your district on this city council, and you're not limited to any one thing. In your area, you are that segment of this city's representative on this council, and you don't have to humor anybody. If you want to know what's going on at the golf course or the airport or wherever it is, you have the right to go and sit down and ask questions and do whatever you want to. Like I said, however, I think that our custom is that we've been doing as a liaison is good. I just want to make sure you know you're a liaison. And I'm ready to make those appointments. Is there any questions about what I've talked about what I've found? Anybody got any questions about what I've said, how I've described it?
Let me say you're directly on point, and that was the purpose of wording in the new charter that way, to clarify that.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it's about.
Yeah. And like I say, don't get me wrong now. You've got just as much authority to go talk to any department head as I have. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Just as much authority to talk to any department head as I have. When you get through talking to them, I think you, as a courtesy, you and the department head might ought to come talk to me, because sometimes the buck stops here, and I appreciate you working with me, but you've got the authority to go and ask any questions you want to. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'm ready for this appointment I'm fixing to make, and you can get your pencil and pad. We'll start with Ward 1. Ward 1, Mr. Johnson, you're going to be the liaison with the street department.
Okay.
Ward 2, Mr. Ramey, you're going to be the liaison with water and sewer. Number 3, Ms. Leggett, you're to be the liaison with the fire department. And number 4, Mr. Bloodworth, you're to be the liaison with the police department. That's what you'll ask me to do, and that's what I've done, and that's the way we'll live this year. If you got any suggestions, you don't want me to do it next year, you can handle it yourself.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to go on record as objection, stating that the part that we would have is alternating has not been done. We're not alternating all of our council members to the different parts so that we can learn and helpful be parts of each of our divisions in the city. I'm not going to call any names, we all know, but at the same time, I do like the idea that as being a liaison, and that's all we are, is we are to be a help to all of our departments, but more so than that, we are to be a help to our citizens of Hazelhurst. And I do formally want to say that I object to the appointments without alternation of each of our council members.
Your objection is heard, and we appreciate that. We'll move on. The next item, and we didn't quite clarify all this, is discussing of part-time employees and staffing for the coming year. We made the decision, the council has, and I want it confirmed in this first meeting, that with the budget restraints and other situations that we had, we decided that it was our obligation to make some reductions in staff for the coming year, and that our statement was that all employees would not be rehired, but that we would notify them at a later date. I'd like to correct that to the point that they'd be notified by at least the end of this month. And Mr. Ramey, you're the parliamentarian, how do we get that accomplished?
You caught me by surprise there, because I thought it had already been done.
Well, we said at a later date, and some of them wanted to know when it was going to happen. I'm trying to clarify that it will be done before, at least by the end of the month. It may be just the information we need to put out.
Just as a point of clarity, all that would need to be.
Okay, all right, as a point of clarity, in case anyone asks, then all that is effective will be notified by the end of this month. Okay, with that done, on part-time employees, we were going to make sure that, of course, we went through all this in the work session. Have we corrected and made the corrections that we need to do to hire a few part-time employees and get them worked out? Ms. Bernice, I believe you've been working on some of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, part-time employees, they are subjected to the drug test and to a physical. It's just mandatory with us. They're not eligible for benefits and that kind of thing. And we have to keep them below 32 hours per week.
Well, I think we pretty well handled that in the work session too, but I just wanted to go back and make sure we were all
Yes, sir.
aware of that. And is there any questions about that, what we're doing?
The only thing I ask, and you and I have discussed it, and some of the commissioners, please, whatever we're doing, and I want everybody to try to understand what I'm saying. Our budgeting, our spending, this is our first meeting. I want us to work diligent to get the reserve built, and that we be very confident of what we're doing if we was able to stick to what we had decided to on the retreat, Hazelhurst would be 100% better now. And somehow or another it got out of our hand. The council have to get the spending, the hiring. We got to control it. And I know you say we're not over those departments or whatever, but whatever we need to do to make sure that we get this under control, we got to, so that we can see our reserves replenish.
I agree.
And I wasn't joking when I said, come down on the water bill. I want us to be able to tell the citizens, we're gonna come down on the water bill.
Well,
And I ain't worrying about.
Let me say this to you, my friend.
Yeah.
You're not good friends, but you're dreaming.
Well, I dream big, but I think it's possible, because like I said, I always tell people, I don't wanna be compared to a city next door, what they charging. If we don't need to charge our people that, we don't have to do it. And with good housekeeping, I think we can keep things under control. Thank you. I know you want me to hurt, but I'm getting out of there. I want it brought down.
Let me say this, and I think all the council knows this, particularly Ms. Legal being new, and we certainly are proud to have her, and she's already she's hit the ground running, and we appreciate that.
I wanna see us,
But listen,
replenish what we've taken.
well,
True.
well, let me get into that just a little bit, and you'll correct me if you will. You're, there's so much of a voice on this thing. Who was that left?
Charles Everett.
Oh, okay. All right, the, budget, and us shooting the budget and being, in the stress that we're in. Number one, our health insurance, folks, is eating us alive. We had in excess of $200,000, of self-insured. And it's hard for a little town and a little budget like ours to absorb $200,000 of overrun. And there wasn't a thing in the world we could do about it, not one thing. It was a bad problem. Then another thing that overshot our budget a little bit, we've been fortunate enough to get a lot of grant money. Our money for our taxiway at the airport, our $750,000 over the other. We've had a lot of money. We got $150,000 to put up our traffic light. We had to match it with a good bit of money. Not a lot, but some. In fact, I don't mind telling you, I told you Monday night, I think we spent $16,000 over the 150 on that traffic light. But we knew that when we got it. But another thing we've done, these buildings right outside of our window over here come for sale. Southside Church on the corner and said, City Hall, we'll give you all the first opportunity. Well, can't you just see some business coming over there that'll be sitting there with us no room to park or anything else in years to come, and with them giving us the first opportunity? I have no apologies for coming to you and you approving us to purchase that building. I think we did the right thing. That was partly responsible for it. The building right next to it, same situation. We were lucky enough that when we bought that building, we put a tenant right back in it, and that building will pay for itself in the next about 4.5 years. What we paid for it, the rental income will pretty much take care of that pretty soon now. When that hospital over became available, perhaps that's a little far, and maybe we should let the hospital or somebody else buy that thing. But and I'm saying every now we need a little joviality in all this serious business. I don't want all the land around. I just want all that joins me. Well, that's sort of the mentality we'll say here. We own to that street out there. We own to this street here down. We own to Jefferson, and we own back the other side. We got everything inside this block, and I believe that this, as I see various things happening in Hazelhurst, I believe in the next 20, 30 years or so, I think this town is going to grow. I think it's going to be a bigger town. I think, we're not gonna dry up, and in years to come, I think they can look back and say, when they need this space that's needed, I think, say, the mayor and council, in the year 2020, or 19 and 20, made a good judgment to take and acquire this. And if we don't need it in years to come, if they don't need it, I think they can sell it for more than we paid for it. I think we got it at a good price. So I have no apologies for sticking my neck out and doing that. If it's wrong, I'm willing to take the blame for it. But that's part of the budget problem. And
one of the things that is right along with that, I don't know that it's a budget problem, but it is a thing that we need to do to help ourselves, as you said, is the right thing. We need to start a practice of repaying ourselves from the money that we have borrowed from ourselves in the same benefit that we would do if we borrowed it from the bank. They expect to be repaid, and I think it's expected to be repaid to the accounts of general account or wherever it came from.
that's the condition by which we use those reserves to begin with.
We need to do it.
All right. Okay, now let me ask you something, council, while we've got this on the floor. We've bought this little building, not the corner one, but the next one up here, and we've got the probation people in it paying a right high price rent, and then they're happy to be there by the court. They're next door, and they like where they are. That glass window up there in July and August, it's a pure oven. It's simply, the air conditioner we got won't cool that building, and they're sitting there with the sun shining on them. I wish Charles hadn't left. I've had him to be here with this. Those people have written us a letter that we've got to do something about that oven over there. All right? They're paying this money into a fund, and we're keeping them. Ms. Bernice has got an accurate record of every bit of their rent money. If we're going to keep that tenant, now you can do one of two things. We can take that money and put it back in the reserves and let them move, or you can go over and fix that little wall and keep that income coming. What you want me to do? You want me to put the money, we've got it in the reserve now, it's got it in the bank account. We're not using it for anything else, it's there. Do you want us to take this money and leave it there, or you want me to fix the building where those people will stay and keep
Fix
in
the
the rent
building.
money? Huh?
Fix the building.
Well, that's what
We're in between a rock and a hard place. You gotta fix the building, but you still need to be able to repay your debt.
Well, if anybody can help, if you want to speed it up, buddy, I'm willing for you to help me any day. I appreciate your help. Any way you can figure that we can do that any faster. Another thing, we've got the hospital rented over there. Well, poor old Sidney, he got plenty of money, a good friend of mine, the doctor there. He had a window air conditioner stuck in one end, and a window air conditioner stuck in the other end, and he was just, bless his heart, his health was bad, and we've got a tenant there, and we've insulated it well. We've gone up in the attic. Charles, Harold, and I got up ourselves and blew a lot more insulation at the top of it. We're getting that building in excellent shape. They're sending us a check for $1,300 every month, and we're putting, Ms. Bernice is putting it in the bank. There's some old windows in that thing that was put in it, and when was that thing built, Ken?
40s.
Sometime in the 40s. Those old windows are still in that building, and in order to, and we have the same trouble over there with that sun barreling out over there. I think I need to, and I can do it for probably, I don't know, it won't cost much, but I was just coming up to you. You've expedited me asking you. That money is to repay this money. I want the reserves built back as much or more than anybody. I'm the one probably that gets blamed. The councilman is not blamed if the reserves are down and the finances looks good. Usually the mayor gets his butt in the crack, and I want it back as much or more than you do. But now I've got to keep those tenants satisfied. I've got to place some of those rotten windows, and I've got to keep this property in good shape for the people in the future, for to be able to bring in the income. And if you think I'm making any mistakes or whatnot, y'all are to blame, because I'm going to get permission for every dime before I spend it. So it's going to be y'all's behind and not mine.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
All right, what you want me to do?
Like you said, we gotta just do the right thing.
Can you fix them for $50?
$50? Who said anything about 50?
Well, I'm just asking, can you put them $50 to put the windows in? and put the rest in reserve?
You're trying, look, I'm as serious as man. I'm as serious as man can be. You.
No,
sound like a great idea, but-
What we got to do, we got to do
It's the wrong time on me.
We got to do it, we got to do it.
We gotta do
But
what
I
we gotta do.
just want to, I know we're making good progress to start at it. And this is our first meeting, and I think all of us is on the same level. We want to do it, and I think we're gonna get there. But we got to take care of the tenants to keep the money coming in.
I'm doing everything I can to get it, to help it to get to be properly managed, efficiently run,
You know-
and as frugal as I can possibly be. And if anybody thinks they can improve on it, if they'll let me know, I'll turn you loose with it.
You know, as far as that building goes, I asked a question once before about historical value. That's the first hospital in this city, is it not?
The
It was?
Goldman, I think, was first.
Powerful.
I mean, the Powell, yeah, the Powell, I think, was the first over yonder. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was a
The whole
different.
sanitarium was the first, but it's not there.
Okay.
I don't
All right, bro. Don't
But at any
worry
rate, let me
about
tell you
it. Don't
this,
worry about it.
and we need to go on. Bernice, I promised her we'd get out of here in a hurry, we're running our mouth too much, but y'all agree. Charles and I have already got it figured exactly how we're gonna place that wall that sun's bearing down over here and get this taken care of before the heat starts in July, August. The windows in the hospital building over there, we can replace those that catch most of the barreling sun. We may not can do it all, but we can get a lot of that done, and we'll do it, I'll tell you what you do, you get bids and get you a contractor anywhere between here and, anywhere within 100 miles of here, and get you some bids under over there, and you turn me and Charles Harold loose with what we do ourselves and how we piece it together, and I'll guarantee you I'm gonna save you about half the money. I'm gonna do it about half of what any contractor will do it for. If you think you can beat that, come on in and get on the job. I think we've worked this out enough, let's move on. All right,
Beat
good.
that one,
Yeah, and if I've been a little over assertive and whatnot, I apologize, I don't mean to be. I'm trying to do a good job. All right, we've got the next three items. I'd like for you to pool them together, a review of the water and sewer adjustments, which you've got there, the report to council and the check register. You've had plenty of time to look that over. I entertain a motion that we pay 3, 4, and 5, approve the payment in those three reports.
Make that motion.
Mr. Blevins made a motion that we approve those three items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion about this? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. Rhonda, you got anything for us
I do,
tonight?
I have a couple questions.
All right.
Who is the liaison for the golf course, airport, and animal control?
Me.
Okay. You didn't discuss yourself while ago.
Well, you remember, I'm a politician. I'm a shady character. You have to watch me, no telling what I'm doing.
Just clarify.
Okay, what else?
I'm done.
All right.
I got one thing, Mayor. I think I speak for all the department heads that are here. I hadn't asked them, but I think I speak for them, that it doesn't matter who our liaison is. If anybody's got a question, or you wanna come in, or you wanna know something, just ask. Just ask. I think we can work with whoever. That's all I wanna say.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. All right, any other citizen comments, or department heads, employees? Man, you just over there mighty quiet taking notes. You wanna add anything to the minutes? You can write down your suggestions too. All right. Okay, we're up to the, council here. Gentlemen, lady, you got anything on your chest? Now it's time to get it off. I apologize for my verbiage tonight. If I've made mistakes, I ask you to forgive me. Mr. Johnson.
We shall see y'all Saturday at 10 and the program afterwards. I offer a motion that we...
Wait a minute. So that y'all understand, he's not, I say too much and repeat a lot of times. He's talking about the Martin Luther King Parade.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, has a parade at 10 o'clock, and the big program that,
Yeah, with our superintendent, after, it'll probably be right about 10:30, so they'll be going
make
in the
yourself
church.
clear if you don't,
I'm sorry, you talking enough for me tonight. Excuse us.
Well, I've apologized 3 times.
All
Okay,
right.
Mr. Ooh,
Dwayne, for
Yes, ma'am.
Facebook purposes.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
does the parade start?
It started at Mount Calvary Baptist Church on Gutman Street
At 10 o'clock?
at 10 o'clock, dead on the nose. 10 o'clock.
oh, okay, any other comments or questions?
Right.
Okay, Mr. Johnson.
So move, let's go home.
Mr. Johnson moves that we adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Bloodworth, second the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.